Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How have you been? I hope it will be fine when the situation still requires us to be careful. As you know, I'm Dewi Anggraeni from English Department of STKP Persunda. What I'm going to be talking about today is my education experience, and this is also my midterm test for academic speaking. So, my educational experience is about how I studied in office administration in vocational high school. First, learning office administration is not only limited to correspondence or managing archives. I also learned many other things such as the telephone. I thought at first that making phone calls was easy, but as it turned out, it's not something that you can do according to your own heart's desire. From the start, you say greetings to the acute of ending the call, you really pay attention. I really never imagined it would even become a compulsory subject in the office administration. But it felt fun, especially when practicing with a real cable telephone. Then, I thought that when I was in office administration, I would run into numbers and math. As it turned out, there was a lesson named PTCAS that required me to count a lot of numbers. It was a little bit confusing because I don't like to see numbers lined up. Besides it, I learned to manage meetings well because this office administration forms students to become a good secretaries. Managing the meetings start from preparing big things to the small things. In this lesson, I learned a lot about presentation, but my presentation is still too bad because I rarely practice it. Let's look at office equipment. Really, I saw the cabinet in the office was just an ordinary wall with a pile of paper in it. But it turns out that they have various types and names that I really didn't know before I studied office administration. So many office equipment that I just knew at the time. And unfortunately, I have forgotten some of them now. Another thing I learned was getting to know colleges and customers. I never talked about what a colleges is before, but there I got to know what a colleges is and learn how to have a good basic communication. Discussing a good basic communication, there used to be a special lesson that discussed it. Teach us how to keep a smile even though the day you are going through is so bad, because it is the basic attitude of someone who works and deals directly with public. Pay attention to how words are spoken and maintain communication so that it remains attractive to the interlocutor. Sounds like nothing difficult, but when it comes to materials, it's really complicated, especially when filling out the exam questions. But among the many subjects that I studied in the past, it remains one of the most complicated. That was archives. So many techniques used. I almost cried every time it was practiced to organize letters into the archives, especially during practical exams where I was also racing against time. Now, let's move on to these lessons. I remember when going to the final exam, I was taught to type fast using 10 fingers. It's a lot of fun because there's no theory. I studied full in the computer lab, but it required high concentration to arrange our fingers to move on the correct letters according to rules. I'd like to talk about, in addition to studying in the classroom, there was a time when it was a direct work practice in a government office. What I learned was not just theory anymore, but I felt the work of real life at the time. I thought that this was the picture of if I work someday, where the theory doesn't really apply. However, your attitude and skills are what you can count on to get a good image. I admit I was a little bit scared because I don't really well at the materials, but if I had tried a job, I would study it well and do my best. What I learned during my direct work was to practice what I have learned by not only facing the grades, but also fostering a sense of responsibility because when I worked in that office, I didn't just use my own name, I brought the name of the school before mine. I'm sure because people will remember me where I came from before they knew me. Okay, the question that is frequently asked are, did this experience help me? Or did I think of learning something different? Or maybe what means the most to me? Of course, this experience helped me. This gave me an extraordinary lessons and knowledge. In addition to learning about office administrations, of course, I learned something different because I want to be a chef and my hobby is writing. I learned both of them. And everything of it is meaningful for me. So, not everything that I went through feels good. There was time when it felt really heavy, especially when I never imagined that I would know the world of office. After all, the time has passed, and I was grateful to be in the department. I was happy to fight with my friends till the end, managing various types of documents to managing simulating meetings. Maybe that's what I can say in my presentation. Thank you for your attention. I'm sorry for all the mistakes and see you next time. Stay healthy. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.